Always cover the sky with clouds. Censor Stamira of the Royal United Services Institute in the United Kingdom announced on September 26 that Russia is backing China's invasion of Taiwan. This seems to be a very serious issue, and this isn't just my personal opinion. Major foreign media outlets like the Washington Post are also reporting on it. Let's take a closer look at the fact that Russia is supporting China's invasion of Taiwan. Let's get right into it. As you all know, President Xi Jinping of China has ordered preparations to be completed for a military takeover of Taiwan by 2027. A Royal United Services Institute commentary in the United Kingdom gives specific details about this. The commentary states that Russia has recently agreed to provide training support to China's airborne troops, and not only that, but also to share operational know-how related to the airdrop of airborne equipment. The Institute says the agreement aims to boost operational capabilities in real combat, with Russia providing full support such as training, maintenance, education, localization, and technology transfer. In particular, it has been revealed that the agreement includes measures to strengthen practical combat operational capabilities, such as the airdrop of equipment, which determines the success or failure of airborne operations, direct connection, command and control procedures, training methods, and the operation of realistic scenarios. The Royal United Services Institute in the United Kingdom reports that Russia agreed with China in 2023 to supply weapons, equipment for airborne troops, and transfer technology. Among the equipment and weapons that Russia agreed to sell to China were 37 Boyevaya Machina Desanta, 13 feet airborne armored infantry fighting vehicles, 11 Sprut and 11 amphibious self-propelled guns, and 11 BTR MDM airborne armored vehicles. The amount may seem small, but that's just from leaked info. The leaked information revealed that Russia agreed to sell enough weapons and equipment to equip an entire airborne brigade. There was also an agreement to supply special equipment needed for airborne operations, and to provide training for technical personnel to operate and repair such equipment. There was also a technology transfer agreement that would allow China to mass-produce airborne operation-related weapons that Russia possesses. The Royal United Services Institute in the United Kingdom says Russia-China cooperation could advance China's airborne troops by 10 to 15 years. The Royal United Services Institute in the United Kingdom reports that China's military is diversifying how and where it deploys troops to Taiwan. If the Chinese military invades Taiwan solely with an amphibious operation, the risk of failure is too high. The Taiwan Strait between China and Taiwan is about 180 kilometers wide. The narrowest point is 131 kilometers, so they must cross more than 100 kilometers, a major initial obstacle. You might think they'd use an amphibious assault fleet to cross, but that's a narrow perspective. The Taiwan Strait has strong currents and unpredictable tides. Unstable currents make it hard for a large fleet to pass through this area. Only certain times are suitable for amphibious operations. From November to February and June to August, landings are impossible. That's because of typhoons, or the climate simply isn't suitable for a landing during those times. A landing is possible during this period, but non-combat losses from the environment are expected to exceed combat losses. To make it worse, just 14 of Taiwan's beaches are suitable for landing. Other areas are steep cliffs, making landing impossible. Of the 14 places, only Jinshan and Jialuteng are suitable for landing. There are 9 suitable landing beaches near Taipei's northern coast and 5 near Kaohsiung, totaling 14. But Taiwan isn't foolish either, so they've built strong defensive facilities at these 14 locations that are ideal for landing operations. The 9 northern beaches near Taipei, likely the Chinese military's main invasion targets, are heavily fortified. Taiwan has constructed multiple coastal bunkers and tunnels. Because of this, there is analysis that China is likely to use its airborne troops to attack Taiwan by conducting amphibious landings from the sea and dropping troops onto the ground from the air. Russia has real combat experience in airborne operations, which China lacks. Despite failing in the Ukraine war, several airborne operations were still conducted. Russia's support for China involves complex strategic calculations. Due to the war in Ukraine, Russia faces tough economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation from Western countries led by the United States and European Union. In this situation, military cooperation with China means more to Russia than just simple arms deals. By joining hands with a major partner like China, Russia hopes to gain some economic and diplomatic breathing room while also dispersing the pressure from the West. Russia seeks China's political and economic support in exchange for practical help, like sharing military technology and airborne operation experience. In the short term, this can help cover the costs of war, and in the long term, it could become an important means for Russia to maintain its international standing. Above all, the fact that China does not openly criticize Russia's actions on the international stage and to some extent shields them is a great help to Russia in neutralizing the West's diplomatic isolation policy. In addition, Russia is aiming to put pressure on both the United States and the West through strategic cooperation with China. With the United States already bearing a huge military and financial burden by supporting Ukraine, if China increases military tensions by intervening in Taiwan, the United States will be forced to manage two fronts at the same time. Russia appears to be trying to divert Western resources and disrupt their strategy by taking advantage of this situation. Russia's support isn't just aiding China in invading Taiwan, it's a strategic counter to the United States and the West. Russia's calculations are clear. Close military cooperation with China is both a survival tactic against Western pressure and a way to add new geopolitical challenges for the United States and its allies. Meanwhile, Taiwan appears to be preparing to implement a hellscape strategy in response. The Taiwanese military plans to deploy thousands of drones over the Taiwan Strait to deter a Chinese invasion, having bought nearly 1,000 drones since last year. All these are kamikaze drones expected for use against Chinese attacks. Recently, Taiwanese military personnel have trained in drone operations with American instructors. If Taiwan and China fought with conventional forces, Taiwan would likely lose. The Taiwanese military is developing weapons for asymmetric tactics to counter this. Currently, they've bought about 1,000 units, but with a bigger budget, plan to buy 11,270 American-made drones in 2026 and 37,480 in 2027. Also, Taiwan is working with domestic drone manufacturers to develop loitering munitions. The Taiwanese military is also rapidly deploying asymmetric weapons like missiles and speeding up the process. Taiwan has deployed upgraded Xiongfeng 3 missiles and the Qingtian-I supersonic cruise missile with a 2,000-kilometer range. They're also working on the Qingtian-2 hypersonic missile capable of Mach 6 speeds, correct? Taiwan's military has bought many drones due to a significant defense budget increase. Taiwan is currently increasing its defense budget significantly. This is due to President Trump's demand for higher defense spending and military pressure from China, leading to a situation where the defense budget is being raised. Next year's defense budget is 4.35 trillion won, 3.32% of gross domestic product up, 22.9% from 2025. With this level of budget for the first time since 2009, Taiwan's defense budget as a percentage of gross domestic product will exceed 3%. Additionally, Taiwan plans to keep raising its defense budget, aiming for 5% of gross domestic product by 2030. But the problem is, if China invades Taiwan and Taiwan wants to win, the most important thing is Taiwan's will to resist. Only if Taiwan has a strong will to resist can other countries help. If China invades and Taiwan surrenders immediately, Taiwan will fall before help arrives. Taiwan's situation seems poor. Per Taiwan United Daily's September 22 announcement and the annual cross-strait relations survey, currently 63% of Taiwanese are dissatisfied with the government's anti-China policy. It was 43% in 2024 and has risen to 63%, a 20-point increase. The percentage of respondents supporting stronger Taiwan-China economic and trade ties rose from 41% in 2024 to 46% in 2025. 46% oppose raising the defense budget, while 44% support it. More people oppose raising the defense budget. 67.8% said they would fight for Taiwan if China invaded. Notably, 86% of Democratic Progressive Party supporters said they would fight, compared to just 36% of Kuomintang and Taiwan People's Party supporters. While more people now say they'd fight China, about 30% of Taiwan's population would not if war broke out. This uncertainty makes it unclear if Taiwan can keep resisting. We often hear news that makes us sigh. I wish I could share only good news, but the unstable international situation forces me to share bad news instead. Still, I will do my best to provide objective information. What are your thoughts on Russia assisting China in preparing for a new attack on Taiwan? Share your opinions in the comments. That's all for this video, thank you.